what we're doing is, with the seventh day creation, we're getting ready to introduce the King David Version Bible. I'm sorry, King David Version calendar. It's the Israelite Mazzaroth biblical calendar. And what we're going to do is we're going to put out this year's 2021 and 2022. The reason being that's the 6th year, 7th year, and then the 1st year again. So we're reintroducing the seven-year cycle that God has put in place. This 7-year cycle has to do with the Sabbath. It has to do with the 7-year release. It has to do with the Jubilees. And it also has to do with the 7th day creation, which is the millennial reign with Christ, the 1,000-year reign with Christ. So it all ties in together. And the reason it's called the King David Version is because it's all based on the Jubilees of King David. So we're establishing the timeline and time frame of the sanctified, set-appointed times all the way back to the times of King David. So we see we have within the calendar, the year releases every 7th year. So 2021, next year, is the year of release. And the next Jubilee, 50 years later, would be 2043. So these Jubilees are all started from 996 BC when King David was ruling. So this was the Jubilee in King David's time, and then it was later ruled by his son, King Solomon. So the King David Version calendar it's all ascribed using the Bible, the Book of Enoch, Jubilees, Jasher, and includes all of the Israelite Sabbaths, including the new moons and the feasts. And it's all found within the Gregorian calendar. And the reason we didn't separate it from the Gregorian calendar is because it's like the tares and the wheat. You have to let them grow together.
Correct.
So now when we look at the calendar, we can say, oh, this is the day that we're in the world, and the spiritual set-apart times, we'll see those days as well. And again, I think I mentioned this before, King David, a lot of people say he's ruddy, and they think that means he's red. We cut up with semantics, but it just basically means he was manly. So based on the sevenfold doctrine of creation, we're going to see that this year, 2020, is the year of preparation, which is the 6th year of the cycle. And next year, 2021, is the 7th year of release, the 7th year, which is sabbatical years. So within the time frame of a calendar, the 6th day would be the day of preparation, which is Friday, the day before Sabbath. The 7th day of the week is the eternal Sabbath, and every 7th year is the year of Jubilee. A year of release. And then we have the Pentecost every 50th day, and the Jubilees every 50th year. So Pentecost is coming up. It's the 50th day, but it's actually day 1. Because after 49 days, the cycle repeats. Just like after 7 years, there's no 8th day. Right? The next day is
the
first day.
Yes.
It's the same thing with the Jubilees. The Jubilees is a renewal. Every 49th year is a year of release. And then the 50th year is the Jubilee, but it's the beginning again of the 49-year cycle. So then we have the 7th year, sabbatical years. Deuteronomy 15 breaks that down pretty. We won't go into that right now, but a big breakdown of the sabbatical years in Deuteronomy chapter 15. But let's look at Leviticus 25 and Exodus 23. Let's go Exodus 23, verse 10 and 11. Exodus 23, let's get a chance to get to one final. Exodus 23, verse 10 to 11, and this is regarding the 7th sabbatical year of release. Go ahead now.
And 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat. And what they leave the beast of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy olive yard.
Okay, and we know what the vineyard represents in Israel. But you see here, every 7th year thou shalt let it rest. So this is establishing something from, farmers' almanacs, they use this as well. So it's not only is it dealing with harvests and letting the land rest, it's also dealing with us as a people. Every 7th year, we are connecting with God's timing. It's a sabbatical year. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 3 and 4. Leviticus chapter 25.
6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruits thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard.
Okay, again, it's explaining this 6-year cycle, and then the 7th year is a year of release. Now, when we get to the book of Revelations, this will come more into understanding, because the book of Revelations, it talks about a period of 1,260 days, or 42 months, which is 3.5 years. And it talks about going into a covenant and then them breaking the covenant halfway through. So this 7-year cycle, as Israelites, keep an eye on the world, because you'll see we're living in the times now where it's the chip era, right? Everyone's talking about chipping their children, and they're talking about these viruses putting something in us to monitor us, and if you want to buy something, you're going to have to get a chip, all this stuff, right? This is all the days of Revelation. It's all coming to pass. So when these things start to happen, and you see that halfway through this 7-year cycle, things start to go astray, then you know that this is the actual time period that God was talking about. So as Israelites, it's important to understand it so that we can make sure that we're right in God's cycle. It's important that we do things according to His time and not according to man's time.